Yes, Vijeta.
Namaste. Welcome all. It's with great pleasure that I'm welcoming you all who have joined us on WebEx as well as on YouTube. We have thousands of people tuning in as we speak. I welcome you all to the Nation First Dialogue series. This is the 11th event that that we are conducting, organized by AnanthKumar Pratishthana. So just to start off by Nation First Dialogues is this unique platform to discuss some of the most important topics from around the world that make a big impact on our lives. We bring together experts on a single platform like scientists, academics, um, policymakers, activists to understand different perspectives of the topic. We also wholeheartedly welcome students and professionals to pose questions and interact with the experts. Today, I'm thrilled to be here to discuss an emerging technology that has captured the imagination of engineers and scientists around the world. That is ChatGPT. As we have over 1,000 engineering students tuned in today, I would like to say that uh, as engineers, I'm sure you have no doubt familiar with the concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning. But have you ever wondered how machines can learn to generate human-like text and even engage in conversations with us? And that's where ChatGPT comes in. ChatGPT is or generative pre-training transformer is a cutting-edge AI model that has revolutionized the field of natural language processing. Uh, just to share a quick anecdote, there was a student researcher recently who created a ChatGPT like chat box, which acted as a student in a university, and hundreds of people were fooled by that chatbot because it used to crack jokes, it used to act like a student. So many people were fooled as if it was a real student of a university. So this raised many questions, even ethical questions of what are the implications of such a human-like uh, machine that we have created. So I think that's something, these are just some interesting questions that have come up because of ChatGPT. And no doubt, it's across fields now people are using ChatGPT, and it's slowly becoming a everyday tool that we use. So thanks for all. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. And I think let's get started. First, I wanted to invite Tejaswini ji, our founder trustee from Adamya Chetana Foundation, as well as AnanthKumar Foundation, to welcome our prestigious speakers and to flag off this event. Tejaswini ji, over to you.
Shubha Sanjay, Namaskara, Ellargu Namaskara. Good evening, all. On behalf of our beloved chairman, Professor P.V. Krishnabhat, and other core members of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, it gives me great pleasure in inviting you all to the 11th Nation First Dialogue, ChatGPT Opportunities and Threats. I am really thrilled and happy to invite the guru of IT industry, Sri Dr. Sadgopal ji, who is the Bhishma Pitamaha, I can say, of information technology Loka, and the real Bhishma Pitamaha of this field. I heartily welcome sir for this event of AnanthKumar Pratishthan. I also welcome our young speaker of today, Pratyush Oak, who is part of the Microsoft team. I can say the Vishwakarma team member. I just don't want to call him as Abhimanyu, but okay, can definitely tell him the Arjuna and the Chat GPT development team member. And I would like to welcome all the youngsters, seniors, all the well-wishers of AnanthKumar Pratishthan who have joined us through YouTube, and also the senior members of AnanthKumar Pratishthan, the friends of AnanthKumar ji who are on the WebEx link. We have Professor Rajesh Srinaji, who is the Vice Chancellor of Gorakhpur University, one of the largest universities of Uttar Pradesh, and also he is very passionately involved with Adame Chetana's Green Campus concepts, and very sincerely the whole team is implementing the various Green Campus initiatives of Adame Chetana. And also we have Professor Dr. Vishnukant Chatpalli, Vice Chancellor of the Rural University and the Panchayat Raj University from Gadag, and a very close friend of AnanthKumar ji. And also we have Pradeep Oak, we have Sujit Kumar, who is heading this Nation First Dialogue, and other members. We have Sri Rajiv A. Kumar, Chairman of Expert Appraisal Committee of he's again from UP, from Lucknow, of Industry 1 of Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Um, I just briefly want to give introduction about AnanthKumar Pratishthana, which is founded in the year 2019 and is actively involved in various nation building activities. Of course, these are the activities which have been started by Sri AnanthKumar ji and his family members and his friends, his followers. Together we decided to take forward whatever few initiatives what we can do it as a team. And many of our and the activities include developing leadership skills and instilling love for the country, love for the nature, for the people across different sections of the society. It could be at grassroots level. We have conducted leadership program for women elected members of Gram Panchayats of Karnataka. And also we have done various activities for the youth, maybe it is engineering students, law students. We do conduct various programs, leadership programs for them. One of our flagship program is the Nation First Dialogue, and the very topics of the earlier NFDs, the Nation First Dialogues, will speak about the intent and the thrust of AnanthKumar Pratishthana. It will of course, it will take hours to explain the Netrutva, the Kartutva and Vyaktitva of AnanthKumar ji. And he joined his public life at the age of 16, and literally from then he spent more than full time 18 hours, 20 hours a day for the cause of the nation, organizing earlier days, in his student days, organizing various student movements through Vidyarthi Parishad, and later he is part of and played a very important leading role in strengthening the BJP, not only in Karnataka but all over India. We have just witnessed 10 days back the 2023 assembly election. It's the first election in last 35 years Karnataka BJP has faced without AnanthKumar. And his skills are not only just limited to political party activities, but he was involved in various Anna, Akshara and Arogya related programs. And I thought it is best to, I requested one of the volunteers, Shri Purna Prajna, I asked him what does the ChatGPT says about AnanthKumar and his thought leadership, which he always used to say. He has given me a even I am new to ChatGPT, which I am here to learn from Professor Shadgopan. So he has sent me what ChatGPT says about AnanthKumar's thought leadership. I'll just read it, and maybe in the coming days we may get more things from this. I'll just want to read it. I'll just take 2 more minutes. AnanthKumar was an Indian politician and a leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. He served as the member of parliament from Bangalore South constituency from 96 till his death in 2018. Kumar was known for his leadership and contributions in various fields such as education, environment, health, and rural development. As a thought leader, Ananth Kumar was widely respected for his expertise and insights on various issues related to governance and public policy. He was instrumental in the implementation of several key initiatives such as National Rural Health Mission, the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, and the National Urban Renewal Mission, which aim to improve the living conditions of the people in both rural and urban areas. Kumar was also a strong advocate of sustainable development and environmental protection. He played a key role in launch of several initiatives aimed at promoting renewable energy, conservation of natural resources, and sustainable development. Furthermore, Kumar was known for his ability to build consensus and work collaboratively with other leaders from different political parties. He was respected across the political spectrum for his integrity, honesty, and commitment for the public service. And it just goes on just to overall, AnanthKumar's thought leadership was characterized by his deep knowledge, expertise, and dedication to improving the lives of people in his constituency and beyond. His contributions to various fields will continue to inspire and guide future leaders in India. This is what ChatGPT says about AnanthKumar ji. And of course, the various initiatives of Adamya Chetana, basically in Anna Akshara Arogya area, and especially in green lifestyle, the project of tree planting and taking care of the planted trees on every Green Sunday. Today we completed our 385th consecutive Green Sunday, running 4 big kitchens where not only the delicious midday meal is cooked and sent to schools, and also we make sure that we don't use any fossil fuel. Our kitchen is 100% fossil free fuel fed kitchen since last 14 years. And also we don't believe in dustbins. Probably it's one of the very few kitchens where there are no dustbins or no garbages. We have and there are various other projects like plate bank and all vaccines for school students. And the so the basically AnanthKumar Pratishthana looks at taking forward ideas and the leadership qualities of to the and
Sorry to interject, Amma. It's not audible.
yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, I would like to request everybody on the WebEx link to mute themselves.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
yes.
yeah, Vijeta is requesting. I'm also requesting everyone to please mute. Uh, yeah, yeah. Thank you. So we have many other dignitaries who have joined. We have Professor Shri Rajiv Kumar. I was talking about him. He is the member of Expert Appraisal Committee of Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. He is there with us. We have Professor P.V. Krishna Bhatt. We have Aishwarya Ananthkumar, who is a trustee, who has joined here with us. Pradeep Oak, who is an active member. D.R. Subramanya. And yeah, Indumati Rao, who is very good friend of AnanthKumar ji, GM Inamdar. I am not able to take everybody's name. I welcome all of you for this Nation First Dialogue 11th chapter. And thank you. I request Vijeta to take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tejaswini ji. Just to once again welcome all the students and professionals who are joining in. We have students from Acharya Institute, Deen Dayal Upadhyay University from Gorakhpur. Of course, we have hundreds of students joining in from there. We have students from PES, BMSCE, BMS Maharaja Institute, from KVG Engineering College, Sri Venkateshwara Engineering College, Lions Education Society, St. Andrews College, Gorakhpur, NIE, Mysore, and many more. I welcome you all once again. With no further ado, let's start off. I'd like to invite Sujit ji to please introduce the first speaker and I think take us to the next step of this.
Yeah, thanks, Vijeta, and thank Tejaswini ji for that introducing this, setting the context for our Nation Dialogue first. This thing. So I won't take much of the time, but just I want to say one point. Just imagine when Pitama and Arjun both are on the same side of the war, how powerful that war will be. So today's Raj Madam was saying, Professor Sadhugopan is a Pitama, but Pratyush is like Arjun. Just imagine if both of them are sitting same side of the same side, then how powerful that team will be. So this talk is going to be that powerful indeed. So without taking much time, let me introduce Professor Sadhugopan. I would request all of you to listen carefully, and I will disclose one interesting thing towards the end of this introduction. So please listen. Professor Sadhugopan, a name so grand, a scholar, a mentor, a guide so grand. With his knowledge and wit so sharp, he shines like a star, learning and impressed. With his teaching and insight so clear, he helps shape the mind of those who hear. He, he imparts wisdom, he fosters growth. In his student, he kindles hope. His passion for learning is truly inspiring. His dedication to education is never tiring. He encourages curiosity, he thoughts. In his classroom, learning is never got. I request all of you to go please mute. Professor Sadhugopan, a pattern of light, guiding the students towards futures so bright. We are grateful for his lessons and for the warmth he brings to our heads. So here is Professor Sadhugopan, a true gem, a leader, a mentor, a true friend. Many his influence continue to shine and inspire many for years to come. So just I want to, but it's poetic form, and I don't have any poetic ability to write such a poem. Basically, these poems are written by ChatGPT. So this introduction we have read from ChatGPT. This is what I see. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining this session. And we all are eager to hear you, sir. So before we start, sir, just if you can give us what is ChatGPT anyway? So we would like to hear from your version of this. What is ChatGPT basically, sir?
Thank you. Shubha Sandhya. Okay. Namaskara, ellarigu namaskara. So I think it's great to be part of this Nation First dialogue. When Sujit mentioned to me the very this series was so interesting, and of course it is from AnanthKumar Pratishthana. AnanthKumar used to be my good friend for many years, and then it was nice to see Tejaswini Madam, and of course the youngsters Aishwarya and Vijeta. So thank you all, and then my fellow panelist Pratyush, and I have requested Atul Shukla. Atul, could you identify yourself? Atul? Yes, Atul is here. Okay. So Atul also will join in some of the stuff. Okay. So thank you all. So I think it is amazing to see such a large number of people from across the country and a good number of students. Okay. So when Sujit told me about this, so I instantly said yes, but then I said, let me kind of look at what is that would make sense. Because ChatGPT is all over. So you can't listen to any lecture today, you can't read any newspaper today, and any casual conversation across the spectrum of the society, across the world, and then you have people who are saying that look, ChatGPT is as harmful as atomic bomb, that kind of extreme view. And the other extreme view is with ChatGPT, all the universities will wind up and go. So you have this kind of extreme views also presented. So because of that, I think there is a lot of interest. And because there is a lot of interest, it is also important to kind of not lose the focus. So let me kind of start with two disclosures. The first disclosure, I'm not necessarily the expert on ChatGPT. The only reason why I decided to give this talk is very simple, that for many of the youngsters, particularly the student friends who may not know that artificial intelligence, see, for any area, we use the term spring and winter in the following sense. Spring, as you know, is the time when things... Okay, 1 minute, you want to adjust the audio, please. Yeah. Spring is the time when a lot of activities spring up, not more growth. Winter is the time when things wind down. So the AI spring and winter happened in 50s and early 60s. Okay, and then two large research groups, one at MIT and Stanford. Some of us knew some of them because we were all students in 70s, and there was a lot of excitement, but there was also equal amount of disappointment with the first level of AI. But now AI is coming back. So what you see as AI is what is called a second generation AI. And thanks to the fact that you have a data-rich part, so today AI is able to deliver lots of things. But just as a homework, because professors cannot start anything without a homework, so note down, the students note down something called ELIZA, 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 ELIZA. ELIZA is a program, if you actually see, there is a 1964 program written in Lisp, which will actually look like a modern day chat. So when you first look at it, when somebody does not tell you the context, you would think it's a nice modern day chat. So even those days we had. So and then there was one area which was actually well done called expert system. I used to teach a course on expert systems, etc. So in a sense, we kind of have been seeing it all together. And I was part of IIT Kanpur, where we had some amazing people who are actually contributing to this, has been there. So I'm kind of familiar with, that's the reason why I'm comfortable, but it is not something where I have worked on in the last 10 years. Okay, I thought it is important to have that caveat. The second thing is, I will speak for about 30-40 minutes, and then my good friend will talk for another about 30 minutes. We will have a couple of demos, etc. So we want to finish everything in 90 minutes. So obviously, it's a short period of time. So let me give this analogy. If you are from northern India, if you come to Bangalore first, if somebody has to introduce you to Busy Bedabad, there are many ways of introducing you. So I can tell you what is Busy Bedabad, how does it look like, how does it taste, how is it familiar with your dish which you already know, etc., etc. And I excite you how to order and give you Busy Bedabad, etc. But to make you Busy Bedabad is a very different cup of tea, right? So similarly, I will show you some samples, particularly with Atul there, will actually show you how you can build. But to actually be able to build a ChatGPT or build a system using ChatGPT, you need much longer time. But luckily, the resources are available, will give you the pointers. Okay, so that is the second thing I want to be very clear. So first thing is, I'm not necessarily a researcher in ChatGPT. Okay, okay. And second thing is, we are not really going to tell you, can I get productive tomorrow? Obviously not. You just have to do a lot more work. But I will give you, I think, enough stuff so that we can start. Okay, that is how we will go ahead with this talk. Okay, so essentially I am answering 6 questions. Can I have the first slide, please? Share the slides. Yeah. Can I get the slide? Yeah.
Atul? He's connecting, sir. He's connecting, probably. Atul?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now put the previous slide. Yeah. Okay. These are the 6 questions I am kind of answering. So roughly about 5 minutes each. And the way it will be done is that we will thought that these days, the youngsters like what is called the fireside chat, right? So Sujit, That is the jargon you people use, right? So we will make it into a fireside chat. So Sujit will ask me this question and I will provide the answer. Okay, let us start with the first question. So Sujit, you can ask me the first question.
Thank you, sir. What is ChatGPT anyway, sir?
Yes. The next slide, please. Okay. So I thought that it is important that it was very nice that our youngster Vijeta had actually done some work. She even gave the expansion for the GPT, right? It is a transformer. Okay. This transformer doesn't look like a transformer which you find it on a pole, which is leaking oil and electricity, etc. It is an intellectual transformer. That is how the GPT. Okay. And I thought it is good to take it from a Wikipedia. It is an AI program. So this particular part of the program does chatting. So that's why it is called chatbot. So it has a robotic capability. That's why it is called chatbot. And OpenAI is the organization that actually kind of owns this particular tool. And then what is amazing about this one is this was released in November 1st, 2022. In about 6-7 months, it has become a rage. It is something about which everybody on the planet seems to have a view, and right in between, but even. And it is kind of built on I think, some of the jargon which I need you to be familiar with. Obviously, you can't get mastery today, but I think you should be familiar with. The key is large language models. Okay, and then it uses learning. And then, of course, there is a jargon in the AI. We use what is called reinforcement learning and a supervised learning. There are two different ways of learning, but these techniques are kind of used to build this transformer. But in some sense, you could look at it as a black box which generates a conversational output about anything on which it can be trained. So what you will find is, if you ask ChatGPT who is the Karnataka's Prime Minister today, tomorrow, ChatGPT will not have an answer. It will come back and say, sorry, I am not trained. In fact, even if what we ask about Karnataka election, it will say, sorry, I am not still trained. So it has to be trained. One of the nice things I think I want you to feel comfortable, some of you might feel that ChatGPT will actually threaten all of us, etc. Don't worry. ChatGPT would only know what I have already written somewhere or what I have spoken. What I am going to speak today, ChatGPT would not know. So in that sense, we still have a lot of work to do. We still have great opportunities to serve. And with ChatGPT, we'll do much better. Okay? And you might ask, what is that ChatGPT can do? Most of the time, whenever people start using ChatGPT, they will show you, oh, ChatGPT has written this essay. This produced such a good college essay. And then, Yale University, I can actually fake so that I am a great student and I'll get admission. So, for all the admission to Ivy League and all, you have to write an essay. Those essays, ChatGPT can write. And of course, we'll also show you a demo. And those of you who are doing first introductory programming course, okay, and in fact, I am actually going to show you one of the stuff which we learn in introductory programming is how to find the roots of a quadratic equation. So the program to find the roots of a quadratic equation itself, you can ask ChatGPT to do, to write programs. Will it write all the programs so that all the programmers can go home? Clearly no. Okay, it can't write all the programs, and I think some of the programs which I will write, ChatGPT will not be able to write. I think that is a big nice thing about it, right? We as a human beings, with no arrogance, they are much better. Okay, and of course for fun, right now it is fun. I will also show you one sample. ChatGPT can also write poetry. This poetry is funny and quite often not up to the mark, but sometimes it can be nice. Of course, Sujit did share a poetry about me. It looks nice, okay? And sometimes it can write nice poetry. More interesting stuff, ChatGPT is trained on so many languages in this country and outside, and so many languages in the planet ChatGPT has been trained on, so it will effortlessly translate. Okay, so I think something nice. But I think at the same time, you might ask this question: why is it ChatGPT is so interesting? Let me give a very simple analogy. So remember, there was a time when there used to be telephone books called telephone directory. Some of you would remember thick books. What the telephone directory would tell is that if you want to know about IIT Kanpur, you are in Bangalore, you get the telephone book, telephone directory of Kanpur, you will get the number of IIT Kanpur, you call, somebody will pick up, you can get to know more about it. So telephone directory sets the pointer, or it gives you direction to the door from where you can get the information. Google did one step ahead. You go and type IIT Kanpur, Google will give you pointers to a lot more information, sometimes even in the form of a text, some pictures, etc. It will show you the map, it will say who is the director, it will say which programs are offered, etc., etc. Okay, so it gives you access to much more information, but it still gives you what we call doorways to further information. So in some sense, those of us who are kind of, some of you would know, Google uses an algorithm called page ranking algorithm. And of course, one of the founders' name was also, last name was also Page. So there is a nice fun about that algorithm. And that algorithm essentially gives you links to websites. That's precisely what it does. But what it can do sometimes smart, see, yesterday I was traveling from Hyderabad to Bangalore. I can give the flight number, flight code 6E4153, something like that. It will immediately tell you it is a flight from Jaipur to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Bangalore. Okay, so it is far little more structured. It even gives text, etc. So this is something which Google can give, but ChatGPT can go further. It is no longer talking about the pointers to information. It will give you information itself. So for Tejaswini madam, she writes, what is AnanthKumar Pratishthana? It does not give you the address of AnanthKumar Pratishthana. It does not stop and give you phone number of AnanthKumar Pratishthana. It does not expect you to make a phone call to somebody to find out. It does not give you web links to find out more information. It gives you a nice essay which you can consume right away. I think that is what makes ChatGPT so interesting compared to many, many things which we have been seeing for all along. Okay, let me give you a couple of quick, so the next about 10 to 12 minutes, I will show you 4 or 5 demos. And, our Atul Shukla, Atul is my good friend. He teaches me lots and lots of stuff. See, for those of you, the students, you should know, the professors actually teach you for 3 or 4 years. But when you graduate, we actually take an agreement with you that you will teach me for the next 40, 50 years. Okay, so that is how. So Atul is also one of them. About 14 years back, he graduated. Okay, but he keeps teaching me, and I wanted him to be there because professors sometimes are not necessarily good at hands-on, so we may not remember things fast, we can't type real fast, and etc. etc. So what Atul will do is, Atul will actually run the following demos. Of course, you need some extra installations, etc. That's the reason why I wanted him to use from his machine. But we will tell you all those things. They're all minor details. So we will write an essay just for fun. I think already Tejaswini madam had talked about ChatGPT essay on AnanthKumar ji. We could have one on Modi. And then there is a poetry which you can just find out. And then we'll also show you some interesting stuff. Okay. So over to you, Atul. Atul is a startup guy. And one of the important things which I wanted Atul to show is how he built a system called Bhagavad Gita using ChatGPT in just 4 hours. Of course, we all share the old IIT Kanpur style. So this was done between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. Atul, is that correct? Okay, that's what I have been doing. That's what my students have been doing. Some of the best hours are 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Okay, so over to you, Atul. So run those 4 demos, Atul. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the introduction. So I will just quickly show you how to access ChatGPT. So to access ChatGPT, you have to type chat.openai.com. Once you first type this address, it will ask for a login. And if you have a Gmail account, you can use Gmail account to logging in. And just by logging in, you will be presented with this screen where you have this text box called, where you can type in the prompts. Prompts are basically a way to instruct ChatGPT, where once you give instructions, ChatGPT will start acting on that. So, like Professor said, we will, write some essay for the Modi. So I've done few essays already. I will just quickly show you. So I've said write an essay on Modi's efforts toward improving India's education system. So there's a button called regenerate. So I already generated one response, but you can generate multiple responses. And each time actually it will write another version. It doesn't write the same thing again. So you can see when I've given a prompt, it started writing the essay. I hope everybody can see.
Yes, this is good.
Also, we can improve the prompt to say just maybe just shorten it, write it in 250 words. So it's just that easy to just tell ChatGPT to shorten it. So it will again go and start generating it again.
See, those of you who are used to what is called breezy writing or kind of condensing essays into small paragraphs, etc., that is something which ChatGPT does wonderfully well.
So another thing, I think in the demo, sir asked to write a Python program. So here again, I will just copy this prompt, which is, I will maybe do it fresh. So I'm saying write a Python version 3 program to find the roots of a quadratic equation. So I will also try to just quickly copy this code and try to run it. Actually, if this works. So I'm copying the code from ChatGPT and again pasting it in my system. And I will try to run it now. Sorry, I just have to say Python 3. So it already, I think, taken examples. So I will, we can tweak the examples here. We can change the numbers, and then it will, so maybe I can ask it to, I can actually do a conversation with it. Right now, it has hard coded the numbers in the variables. I will ask to rewrite the program to take inputs from the user. So it will take that, the previous conversation and the next prompt, and it will reformat the code to take input from the user. So as you can see, it has changed the program to take the input from the user, and it also kind of explains the program as well. So I will again try to do it again.
Atul, could you increase the size of this a little bit so that the viewers can see it? Yeah, that's better.
So now it is asking me the actually numbers, and has given me the roots. So next demo quickly, I will write a shloka from Bhagavad Gita. I will right away copy paste this prompt in the ChatGPT. So every time you want to write a new prompt, we can click this button called New Chat, and it will present you with a fresh screen to type on. We'll just reformat it a little. So when professor asked me to do this, I also try to attempt, writing it in Devanagari script as well. So right now it has given the translation as well of the shloka. And quickly reformat the prompt. So to reformat the prompt, you can use this edit button. You can click this button and just I will mention in Devanagari script. So let's see if it actually takes this prompt and starts writing. Yeah, so it's started writing it in Sanskrit. Professor, you want me to run more demos? Is that enough?
Isn't it nice? Yeah.
Very interesting indeed.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, Atul, just hold on. I will also I think it is important for you to know as to where are we. On one side, it is very interesting, but at the same time, if you really take a look at the poem on Sadagopan and then ask it to do it in Tamil, if some of you know Tamil, when you read it, you will find lots of holes. The translation quality is rather poor. Okay, so at this point in time, script level, it's fine. Some languages, some translation, if you want to, if you write about Gandhiji and then ask it to translate, the chances are it is nice. But okay, so if some of you can read the Tamil part, you will find that it is funny and sometimes it is even wrong. That's how it is. Okay, so at this stage, the quality of translation, etc., we have a long way to go. So that is one reason why don't get overly perturbed that ChatGPT will take away all your jobs, etc., etc. Okay, we'll come back to it in the social context again. Okay, and maybe I think in the interest of time, we will okay, Atul.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I also want you to give them how you built the Bhagavad Gita. So I will call you again till later towards the end. Okay, and be ready. Okay, Atul built a system using ChatGPT. We'll come back to that. Okay, so thank you. So let me go to the next slide.
Yes, sir. So basically, sir, I think this is a wonderful, introduction of what is the ChatGPT all about. Sir, with the time, I'm sure this will also learn more and whatever, like as you said, Tamil, there are some mistakes are there. So probably with time it will evolve. It will make better and better.
It will become much better. In fact, it will become much better, even much faster than what we all will expect. No doubt about it. But you see, I think what happens is that to some extent, a translation, if you really look at it, is essentially rule-based, right? So anything that is rule-based, the system will pick it up. In fact, it will pick it up faster than you and me. Okay, so okay. But what happens is that a lot of times, when you write an essay, etc., there are also some pun intended. Sometimes we put little nice stuff, so which are emotional, and some of these things make sense only in a context, right? When I say something in Kanpur about Gangaji, okay, so there is a whole bunch of external stuff because there is a place called Bithu, right? And you also know that it is on one side of the Kanpur. Okay, so what happens is there is a kshetra called Brahmavat. So all these information are inside. So when I make a statement, okay, all those contexts are there. Those contexts, which are very personal,
the system may not be able to capture. Okay, so that is what it is. But let me kind of go to the second question.
Yes, sir. So
what are the opportunities, particularly for me? I understand that a good number of you are students. Okay, and I tell you, for any professional, you see, in today's world, you could be in finance, you could be in marketing, you could be an academic, you could be a researcher, you could be a volunteer, you could be a student. So you keep writing a lot, right? You have to make a summary, and then you, for a secretary, your boss says that, look, okay, just give me a quick summary for tomorrow. So you have to make a little summary. So writing is something which we keep doing. Many of us write at the end of the day a small diary, etc. Right? So writing is writing, taking notes, etc. And thanks to ChatGPT, you will find that life will become much simpler for you, because all these things system will automatically do, and sometimes it will do, and it will even convert it into audio, so it will even speak it out. So I think that is going to be something. And Atul will share this with you, that in the last 5 months, what difference ChatGPT has done. Atul is a programmer, right? He keeps generating systems. So suddenly ChatGPT has made his life far more productive. So a lot of, because you all have to write routine code, right? You know, you write something and then you have to embellish it, you have to format it, you have to scope it. All those things the system will do. And already you would have, many of you might have seen something called Grammarly, which is making a lot of noise. It's a piece of software. It keeps asking you pay some money. Okay, there's a paid version, not so paid version, etc. It actually writes email better than it kind of corrects the email, etc. And you know, in some sense, looking back, remember when we came from typewriter to word processor, what is the big difference? During typewriter time, you know, I still remember IIT Kanpur 80s Senate meetings, the last minute there'll be some hand correction. Okay, but these days those things are gone, right? So thanks to spell checkers and stuff like that. So I think each and every one of us, we are able to write emails which are error free. But now you can write emails that are grammatically correct, emails that read better, emails that are friendly. Sometimes you want to give explanation letter, you want test stuff. So you want a mood of a testness there. Sometimes you want a friendliness. All those things can happen. And ChatGPT will also, you see, you get some, you see, I'm sure all of you know notifications on the phones. Quite often today, they are dumb. ChatGPT will make them much smarter. Okay, so what you actually need when you open the phone in the morning is a notification which kind of nicely formats it first, and also grades it, and also stages it. So certain things which are kind of a to do, and it could be something very interesting, maybe your dad's birthday, etc., which is okay, that is get prioritized. And maybe Amazon parcel is coming today, so you have to remember, because you may be somewhere and it can get delivered at your home, and then Amazon guy would ask for the OTP. So I think it is good to know that something is coming, so that we are kind of keep looking at it. So it just organizes your life. So okay, and last but not the least, summary. Okay, you see what happens is, you find that there is an 8-part article series in Fortune magazine about ChatGPT, but to read that you would need a lot more time. So what you would like to have is a quick summary. Instead of 8 articles, you get 8 paragraphs. You just read only that which is interests you. Okay, this kind of stuff. So it is, I think for the student side, see, a lot of things you want to know, but you find it very hard because the books are expensive, the books are not available, books are not there in the library, you don't get access to that, etc. Those things will go away. So your general knowledge can actually be much better. And to me, particularly, what is more important is your general knowledge will be also correct knowledge. See,
We are unable to, I think there's a disconnection from Professor Sadhgop.
Connection is lost, looks like. Just 2 minutes. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Sir,
Sadhgop.
I think he's on mute.
Hello?
Sadhgop.
Is
Sir,
the audio?
Sir, we missed
Is
you
the
for
audio?
2 minutes. We lost you for 2 minutes.
Okay. Is it better
If you
now?
could-
I will repeat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will go back. Okay. So
Yes,
the
sir.
third part is, I think at this point in time, Google, you consume the information the way the organizers have organized it or Google have organized it. You all remember Google's mission statement to organize the world's information. That's what they do. So Google has organized. So when you say IITK, it will give you all the links and it prioritizes the links of IIT Kanpur and gives you. So this is the organization by Google about IIT Kanpur. That is what you get. And if you go one step ahead, I mentioned about giving the airline the flight number and it giving you the timings, etc. Once again, these are all organized by either Google or Make My Trip. It actually picks it up from Make My Trip. Okay. Or if you go and give a code for NSE, BSE, you know, this. Okay. So it will actually get you from NSE or BSE or NASDAQ. Okay. So what are the current prices of that particular stock? But these are all organized by somebody. But quite often, that is not what you want. You want information the way you want to consume. So you want to see, it is one thing to get 20 links about AnanthKumar ji, 200 links about AnanthKumar Pratishthana, or maybe books about AnanthKumar Pratishthana. But what Tejaswini shared was a nice write-up so that when you go to present, you know exactly what it is. I think that is the beauty of ChatGPT. And that is what you will find it very useful. See, today you want to go for an interview in Accenture. You go to Google, you get a lot of information. But you can ask Google, okay, I have an interview in Accenture. And for this level position, give me all the relevant information. It will give you only those things which are important for you. It will possibly have access to how many positions are there, what is that, and it has information about your background, etc. It will tell you what is the salary range, all that it can give you. So I think the key is we're moving from the way information is organized by the organizers to the information that you need. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Sorry, in the interest of time, again, we'll go to the next question. Sujit, we go to the next question.
Yes, sir. Next, sir, this opportunities you explained so nicely, but opportunity always comes with challenges. So what are the challenges posed by ChatGPT, sir?
Yeah. Okay. So I think what happens is that I think whenever human beings create compelling stuff, along with the opportunities, challenges come. We remember when we created a motor car, we also created road accidents and deaths. When we made the planes do crash. When we made the skyscrapers, when there is a slightest earthquake or something, when they come down, it kills hundreds of people. So there are, okay. Similarly, ChatGPT also has challenges. Some of the challenges which you already know, so these are the three most important ones I have put. I think what worries most people, and because this is something which is quoted by the President of the United States, it got a lot more important, fake news, you know, particularly the presidential election. So I think what you have seen, I think Atul showed you how fast you can get things written out, right? So what happens is today, Times of India, Deccan Herald, Hindu, you have half a dozen newspapers in English. So they will have some 20, 30 fellows. They are the people who can write. They can write only so much. But ChatGPT can write million times faster, million times more. So obviously, you can flood with the news, confuse people, and create lots of things which are right, which are wrong, which are correct, which are incorrect, which are true, which are false. I think that has been the biggest problem. Okay. So of course, some of us, we are incorrigible optimists. So we keep saying that you see, before the newspapers, everything was word of mouth. When the newspapers came, they say millions of copies can be printed, and then people can be influenced, etc. But you realize that there is only so much you can do. Okay, you see, newspapers, when they write consistently incorrectly, people are able to find it out. So similarly, even fake news, I think once people start consuming, people will find out. And once again, you find rogue newspapers, good newspapers, right? So we go for the good newspapers. So certain things happen. Similarly, you will start looking at which is the site from which I am reading, because you can go to HTTPS, you will find out the location. So some locations, okay, if it come from MIT, it comes from IIT Kanpur, so then it is not fake. Okay, so those kind of stuff will happen. But yes, in the immediate one, there is a big fear of fake news. Okay, but fake news is a little bit of a nuisance. Sometimes it can cause problems. You remember there was a big problem once happened, right in Bangalore. So there was a news item that lots of people have disappeared from the city, okay, which was wrong for Northeast. Okay, so it created a lot of, okay, there could be social upheaval. So that is, but I think the second one, bias, is much deeper. Bias, what can happen is, see, fake news is something about a particular item. So people can write about yesterday's election results, etc., etc. But people forget it. But bias is something which you can happen over an extended period of time, and you can actually start influencing people negatively. Already people are saying that, look, people are able to influence in a particular way. And so there are lots of issues about poor representation. So what happens is, historically, people have been carrying negative biases. See, I'm just being brutally honest. Until a few years back, okay, there was a general male chauvinism which said that, look, for STEM, science, technology, etc., women are not the best. There is no such thing. But it was a complete bigotry. But it was perpetuated, and some of the best people in the planet used to say that, so it was accepted. And our women friends also have been extraordinarily kind to men. They just accepted. They did not rebel. But a few of them rebelled. Now things are different. Okay. So this kind of influence. And second thing is, going back to example I quoted, the Northeast. So there are, again, biases. Okay. So Northeast people, they look more Chinese. They are not Indians. This kind of funny stuff. You just go by simple external expression. There's nothing, right? So, and then, of course, other things which contribute is religious bias, beliefs. Just because you are a vegetarian, you think non-vegetarian is bad. There's nothing like that. There are two ways of looking at life, right? So if you are a vegetarian, be vegetarian, but you don't have to have a bias against. So similarly, just because you go to temples, you don't have to think people who don't go to temples are not good. Okay, so this kind of bias. But what happens is, bias introduced over a period of time can really influence. And that is what people are really, really worried about, because this can be done so fast, so well, and significantly large number of people. Okay. The last thing is the one which I am particularly concerned about. So what happens is, I normally ask these people, right? So when you go to a doctor, so what you expect the doctor is, look at you, ask you some question, and then interact with you. And then even when he or she prescribes some medicine, he or she will tell you that this is the medicine I'm giving. If it does not work, we will change the medicine. And then you have this particular backdrop of your disease. You are in this age group. Okay, all that he gives. So I think what happened, the medicine cures 10%. The 90% cure is the explanation, the comfort the doctor is bringing. And we should take it for granted. So a lot of times, I think the reason why people accept as teachers is, we simply don't give information. We are able to carry the conviction. We'll tell you why. Somebody will say on the opposite side. We'll argue with him why that particular reasoning is not right. Sometimes the student may be right. He said, yes, I made a mistake in the class. Okay. But what happens is, there is a logical consistency that we build in throughout our argument. and between one class to other class, between one course to other course. So this is what was taught in linear algebra. I'm going to use this in circuit analysis. I'm able to relate this. Okay. So there is a whole bunch of explanations. Okay. Logically built, logically constructed, once again, without a bias. That is what makes human beings what we are. What happens is, I think that is the place where ChatGPT is missing at this time. Hopefully, we will build systems. We don't know, it could be 10 years. It's not going to be happening in months. It is going to take a long time. See, ChatGPT will write something about it. But if you ask it, why did it write? So I'm not asking what is the source from which it took. You see, there are millions of source items that are available, but it took only 10. Why this 10? You partly explain that, I went with a Google page ranking, but that is not sufficient because I have given you extra stuff. So I think ability to explain the action, and this is the player world is concerned, because what they are feeling is if the systems are not able to explain, they're no good. And of course, my lawyer friends tell me that without this cannot be accepted as what we call that, in legal sense. So when you want a document to support it, okay, so you have a state, I forget the term, okay. So it's a witness or evidence, right? So to be accepted as an evidence, you actually need this explanation. Without this explanation, you can't do. That's the problem. Okay. Sorry, I think professors have this bad habit, right? We always need more time. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please.
Yeah, very useful information, sir. So basically, our next part is, sir, we have, participants from across this country, and most of us are interested in knowing what is the special opportunity that ChatGPT provides for India.
Okay, so thank you. I think it's an excellent one. You see, I think, so just look back. See, 1970 when I joined IIT Kanpur, we did not have PCs because PCs came only in 81. So we have to depend on people who will type to be able to type it. And little later PCs came, then came DTP, right? So to produce an annual report, etc., you need a DTP operator or a DTP person. But all those things are gone, right? We all compose our email. We all are able to create our reports. We are able to do lots of things. So what has happened is, I'm not saying that we all have become typists. Anybody can type. So typing is no longer limited to a typist. DTP is no longer limited to DTP. So I think something similar will happen. See, today, you go to a copywriter fellow copywriters will not go away. See, typists have gone away, but what happens is new opportunities got created, right? So I think what happens is we will see many more writers. For a country of our size, I think we are not seeing enough writers because writers are not able to write because they can't reach. There are only so many newspapers are possible. But already you have seen the YouTubers have actually proved that few thousands can happen. So few hundreds of thousands will happen. So similarly, there will be many more speakers. So I use the word influencers in a positive sense. I'm not talking in a negative sense. So I think today what is happening is, to tell you, two of you are sitting. So you are students. Okay. So a prospective student in the 9th grade, he or she wants to talk to a student who is in 2nd year, 3rd year of IIT Kanpur and want to relate to him or her. Okay, today, unless you know some friends, you can't. But tomorrow, ChatGPT will make that possible. So I can say that, look, I just want to be able to talk to. So I don't have to go to IIT Kanpur, find out somebody, go to the Dean of Academic Affairs, sir, I want to have access to this. No, we can't give you. No, sir, I will not bother them something. I just wanting only information. I am only a school child, etc. So he may say, etc. So then you can send a mail. So, but all these things would possibly take weeks. But in a split second, you can actually get it. Of course, you still have to decide whether you are willing to participate or not. So I think this is important, right? How do I positively influence? So you want to know about a hospital, you want to know about a product, you want to know about a service, etc. So those things will become, and remember, these are all likely to be person to person. So there is a certain amount of conviction, there is a certain amount of confidence, there is an amount of truth in it. It is not a marketing guy who writes something, so those kind of stuff are not there. I personally feel that there is so much more education is possible. We all have seen NPTEL. NPTEL could make lots and lots of IIT professors' material available free of cost in the form of video. But unfortunately, those videos are not compelling. That some of them are certainly good, but only a small number. Outstanding professors, but they have not been thought through in the sense of delivery. Second thing is, they also come as a package because it's a 45 hours you have to consume, and you may not be able to have that 45 hours to consume. But imagine that ChatGPT will not only summarize text, it will also summarize video. Okay, so I want to find out about some particular stuff. So, okay, so you see, it's very simple, right? See, Atul, okay, so he has been experimenting with a large amount of music. He actually runs new generation music services, etc. But he had to discover, he had to learn all of it in some sense the hard way. Tomorrow, if you want to be the startup student, today, startups, you don't have to wait for graduation or post-graduation. You can do a startup in the first year, second year, right? So at that time, you want something real fast. So how do you get things? So in some sense, I want to do a course. I want to do audio codec. I want to know internet delivery. I want to know monetization. If you know all these three, I can package together. Okay, that kind of a stuff is not available today. So you have going once again to my word, the Google world and the ChatGPT world. The fundamental difference is information is organized by the organizers, and then you are provided a copy of it. But I want information to be organized the way I want. I think that is what ChatGPT does. So in a sense, professors have organized their courses in a particular way. You won't take it. Say, no, that's not what I want. I want the course the way I want to be organized.
Sir, you're
don't dish out information that you have created. Okay. I think similarly, healthcare. See, today what happens is, I might have, medicine is divided into cardiology, orthopedics, etc., etc. So I think what happens is, to some extent, we all understand. We go to the person, but a lot of times you realize that somebody has a problem. It looks like, so there is something happening here. So you think it is a thyroid, but it is actually not a thyroid. Okay, but it is something else which is showing up. So I think, so already medicine is getting into this problem, that the so-called fragmented stuff. The good doctors are the ones who will immediately say, sorry, you came to the wrong doctor, because your initial diagnosis is mine, so I will call somebody else. Or he or she will be able to relate to. Those kind of things are available for exceptionally gifted doctors, doctors who do not have arrogance, doctors who are able to accept that they don't know. See, let us face it, human beings, when we are successful, we tend to become arrogant. So if you come to me, I have to solve, I have to find a solution. I can't send it to someone else. Okay, so those kind of stuff. So I think people will get over. And remember, if you are in Bangalore, if you have the right connects, these doctors are available. But for many, many people, they are not available. So how do I make these kind of doctors available to a much larger number of people? And going back to my example of organizing the information the way they have done to organizing information. You want the way you. Second thing is, you may want to be explained. I could be a maid servant from Bihar. I go to a doctor. I want somebody to explain in Bhojpuri language what is the disease. Unfortunately, the doctor may not know. Thanks to that, you can actually do that. So the doctor comes to know that you are from Bihar and your language is Bhojpuri, to translate it, give it to you. Maybe some mistakes, but nonetheless. But I think to me, much more important is the moment this maid servant comes to know that this doctor is willing to give me an explanation in Bhojpuri, her confidence in the doctor goes up. So you are comfort, right? So in some sense, if prajas can be treated like Maharajas, I think the world will be better. Right? Today, Maharajas are treated like Maharaja, but a Praja also will get treated like a Maharaja. And to me, that is a big promise of ChatGPT. Thank you. The next slide.
Sir, it's a wonderful Praja treated like Maharaja. That is a wonderful way. But I'm sure this opportunity comes with a threat. So,
Yes.
what are the challenges that you see, especially for India, in Indian context? What are the challenges this ChatGPT is bringing, especially for the Indian context, sir?
I think a big challenge which I find is that you see countries like China. See, China may not do many things right, but a few things China does well. So China could anticipate the AI revolution much earlier and also could plan things much earlier. And countries like United States, UK have been able to organize themselves much better for this. So in terms of resources, in terms of policies, in terms of government practices, etc., etc. And you know, we are a reasonably chaotic nation. So our democracy has its own plus and minus. So to some extent, lack of a central authority. Okay. I'm not saying it is necessarily bad, but you know, sometimes it hurts. So in this case, it hurts. If some central authority is there, you know, Planning Commission, Niti Aayog has been trying to do a few things well, but you know, it kind of doesn't percolate because it has to get into, because you know, so AI for social, AI for good, AI for India. Some of these things have to happen, okay, fast enough. So how do we get projects which are real fast, real impacting, etc. This also goes to the second thing that, you know, AI, probably many of the students may not realize that because things happen on the net, you take it for granted. AI needs huge computing resources. So even though the tech biggies like Google's and Microsoft and Amazon's, we don't like them for many things, but for them, many of them are not possible. So we are stuck. Okay, and we do not have, you know, it is nice to have TCS, Infosys, Wipro, but the kind of stuff which Google or Microsoft does at the backdrop is something which these companies can't do. I'm not saying can't do, they're not doing today. They can do, but they also need much larger amount of resources. And those resources are still, we have to depend on them. And similarly, quantum computing. We finally got our Quantum Computing Act done. So there's a policy now, a few days back, it was formally announced. And you know, Raman Research Institute right here is one of the key institutes we're doing. But probably we should have done 5 years back. Okay. And I think the reason why this happens is, as a country, we still have a lot. I think you are there from IIT Kanpur. So we are so proud of IITs, but we have too few and too small. I was teaching in a place called Rutgers in 1997, 85,000 students. Look at the scale. Okay, IIT Kanpur was 2,400 students, practically for 40, 45 years. Only the last few years it has grown to about 8,000, but still they are much smaller. So when you are small, your departments are small, right? So electrical engineering and computer science put together will be 60, 70, 80 people, right? But if you're 800 people, okay, so you will probably have 10 research groups, each of 5 to 10, okay, which will be absolutely world class. So 20 people research groups, 10 such research groups, 200 of them, okay. That kind of a critical mass and critical size of researchers is still kind of, we are getting there. I think it's very, very nice to see that in the last few years, we are really, really doing well. But I think we still have a long way to go. Okay, so those are valuable. I think once you have it, so there is nothing that can stop us. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. I think that's a great thing. But towards this thing, answer. What? And we have too many. I mean, many students are also here. So
Yes.
possibly, of course, they'll have some questions. We'll come to the question answer session. But briefly, sir, can you tell this a student, what is that as a student they can do quickly?
Okay, excellent question again. Okay, so thank you, Sujit. I'll tell you, see, what you do is, okay, don't do what I do. Okay, so you see, we professors only talk, but you do. I think you should go ahead and do it. So what happens is, right today, not even tomorrow. So Atul will be available for some more time if needed. And he already shared things with you, how you can start. Okay, so start playing with GPT. Right? I think it is important to actually hands-on with GPT. Okay.
Right.
And second thing is that, see, AI is large. To learn all aspects of AI will take time, but you don't have to wait for that. So I think there is enough material available. I think you need to have a broad feeling of what is called large language models. Okay. And some amount of reinforcement learning. So these two things easy to pick up. So kind of pick it up. And you actually have on the web lots of videos available, YouTube stuff are available. In fact, I'm going to ask Atul, you should also put some of them. So it makes it easier. So I think one of you should volunteer to create some. So before June 30th, so we should have 3 or 4 such YouTube videos, which tells you how you can construct. So okay. Atul is actually going to build one right before you. Okay. So idea is you can build reasonably powerful models. Okay, you can take scenarios like this. Okay, so supposing you go to your grandfather, so your grandfather might say that, look, okay, आप लोग IIT में पढ़ते हैं, so ये IIT क्या होता है? So he may want to know about IIT from his point of view, kind of connected to his India. Maybe he was born in the pre-independence India, etc., etc. Okay, so then you may want, your sister just wants to know something about a new fashion. Okay, so and she's too young, so she possibly may not be able to do it. So, but you can give it to her. Maybe your mom wants just not a recipe, but much more details about a particular food from particular part of the country or particular part of the world. So you can actually be a genie which will produce all these things like this. Okay, so how do you do that? And your own way professionally, you might be in electrical engineering department, you possibly could not take computer science, and so you want to do a particular computer science course. I think great thing about ChatGPT, you don't have to worry because you did not get opportunity, or you went to some college in Gorakhpur, you could not go to IIT, no problem. So you could actually benefit from IIT kind of education sitting in Gorakhpur. Okay, I think that is what, see, ChatGPT will be a great leveler.
That would be wonderful, sir. I mean, that is like, especially country like India, where we have such a vast varieties of students for, yeah, this will be wonderful, sir.
So Pratyush, I'm sorry, we are kind of running slightly behind, which I should have closed at 5:05. I'm kind of running behind, but I still want Atul to kind of demonstrate to the students. He will not do a complete demonstration, but he will tell you how he could build a system, okay, which works. He will also share the URL, you can check, and then just taking a couple of hours. Okay, over to you, Atul. And thank you all for your patient listening. So I'm sorry I could not cover many things, but I could do something. So hopefully, and you can send me mail. So my mail ID is there in the slides. So we'll keep continuing. But sir, I think it's a great opportunity for
here, sir. Yeah. Sir, requesting you to be here for some more time, sir.
I'm here. I'm not. Yeah.
Session, sir.
Okay, just 5 minutes with Atul and then to Pratyush. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Atul will go to the next room so that there is no echo.
So I can invite Pratyush, and then once soon after this, we can have the demo and question answer. Atul, is that okay? So while you are doing the session, I invite Pratyush so that he can also give his perspective, so our students will be able to coordinate your demo much better. Okay. So
Hello, can you?
yes. So here is my pleasure to introduce our younger, in this talk, and Pratyush. Pratyush Spoke is an accomplished senior software engineer with a wealth of experience in software development. He has been with Microsoft since 2016. We all know that ChatGPT is a part of Microsoft. So he knew inside of the ChatGPT basically. And this is the perspective he's going to bring inside of that. So far, most of the time we are talking about the users of the ChatGPT, but Pratyush can bring some insight about this ChatGPT basically. So he is an alumni of North Carolina State University, master's degree in computer science, and he's our local boy. He did his BTech from PS Institute of Technology. Pratyush is an accomplished full-stack engineer with experience in user experience and product design, web services, system design, architecture, as well as develop the life cycle management. He has worked at Microsoft headquarters for both the Windows and Azure products organization, where he has built products from the ground up with a focus on developer productivity and AI, artificial intelligence ops. Pratyush has recently shifted his focus to exploring various ways to productize ChatGPT, leveraging his experience and expertise to drive the innovation in this rapidly evolving field. And this is where we request Pratyush to give some perspective on what are the things, which direction ChatGPT is moving, so that well in advance our listeners, students who are listening or other listening, they're aware what all things are coming. Pratyush.
All right. Thanks a lot, Sujit ji. I hope everyone can hear me. So, namaste, everyone. My name is Pratyush Oak. First of all, I would like to thank AnanthKumar Pratishthana and their Nation First Dialogues initiative. I think it's a wonderful way to get a lot of expert speakers and topics that are at the cutting edge to everyone. I also want to thank Tejaswini ma'am and all the organizers of this event for this opportunity. I think earlier they compared me to Arjuna, whereas Professor Sargopan was Bhishma, but I think I would compare myself more to Ashtavakra. And if you have not heard of that character, that's a very apt analogy. So basically, around 5 or so months back, ChatGPT suddenly exploded onto the scene. So I'm going to talk about the journey of how within 5 months it's sort of become so integral to the tech world and in some ways to all of our lives as well. So basically, around 5 or so months back, when Microsoft backed ChatGPT, that sort of started a race for these, for using these AI models for all the other existing services. Almost Microsoft caught Google by surprise, where Microsoft integrated ChatGPT into its Bing search program. And essentially, it kind of forced Google to go ahead and release its own version of a large language model, which is a competitor to ChatGPT, which does similar things. It's built on similar technology, but the details are a little bit different. So these past 6 months, all of us have heard a lot of terms about AI, ChatGPT, whether it's coming for our jobs, etc. So in my talk, I'm briefly going to talk about how the tech world or even the non-tech world has already started productizing ChatGPT and has already started using it to deliver better quality services, better quality functionality, etc. to all the users. So just to quickly go over again, what is ChatGPT? Now, the technical term, Professor Sargopan has already had a wonderful talk and has gone over the overview of what ChatGPT is. So in very simple terms, ChatGPT is sort of, it is a person, you can think of it as a friend who is a representation of the internet. And you can talk to this friend in regular English or Hindi or Marathi, whatever your language of choice is. So you can ask it questions about the internet, you can get responses, and it has all the positives of the internet as well as all the negatives. So in the internet, you get a lot of fake news, there's a lot of hate, but on the same time, you get a lot of help, You can sell your products, you can get help with your examinations, you can get help learning. So ChatGPT is sort of an interface where you can now actually talk to the internet. Think of it like a friend who knows all the answers, and or an uncle, or that Chacha ji who knows everything about everything. And if they don't know something, then they'd probably just make it up, which is true in the case of ChatGPT as well. So you have to always use it with a grain of salt. Don't believe everything it says. So, so currently, right now, where is ChatGPT having an impact already? So a lot of the industries where there's a lot of customer service involved, e-commerce, banking, healthcare, have already started adopting ChatGPT, and mainly for things like conversational support systems, solving user problems, etc. In fact, at Microsoft, we have already integrated ChatGPT into the Bing, and we've changed sort of the way search is being done. So I think earlier Professor mentioned that ChatGPT has a very limited, like it knows data only up to 2021. It does not have more real-time context. So what Bing search has done now, and let me show you a quick example, is it has added the real-time component to ChatGPT. So this is the Bing search. So this is like similar to Google search. Many of you would not have probably used Bing. It's nowhere close to Google in terms of competition, but it was traditionally a search engine similar to Google. So now what they have done is they have transformed the way you will look for content in the internet. So this is a chat that I'm sharing with you. And here, for example, the election results yesterday. So I can just ask it who won Karnataka elections. And this is something that ChatGPT will not be able to answer because it does not have the latest data. However, Bing integrated with ChatGPT is something that can answer. So Congress is the one that won the election, etc. And then you can build on top of search to actually use the other features of ChatGPT. So you can ask it things like, why did Congress win the election? And it's going to give you what it thinks is an answer. Again, it gets it from various sources. So essentially, it has the intelligence of ChatGPT, but it is sort of fast tracking your search experience to directly the results that you need. So if I encourage all of you to actually go try out Bing. I'm not trying to sell the product, but you can just go play around with it. It's pretty fun. And it gets a lot of things wrong as well. So use it with a grain of salt. So other than Bing, there's also, in the Indian context, Kotak Mahindra has already added a virtual voice assistant that uses ChatGPT. There are a couple of startups. So there's Kisan Sathi, Krishi Jagran. So these are chatbots that integrate ChatGPT. One of them provides farmers with information about crops, weather, market prices, which crops to plant at which time. Krishi Jagran is an informational ChatGPT based experience, which sort of gives information about government schemes, loans, etc., especially geared towards farmers. In fact, recently the high courts of Punjab and Haryana have also they've used ChatGPT to get its feedback on the global view on bail when the assault involves cruelty. And so it was actually already being used in court cases, etc. So these within 5 months, so 6 months or so back, we would have not even heard about this term. And today it's being used in such a large scale already. So one major impact that it's going to have, in my opinion, is the impact on students and learning. So Professor Sargopan already covered a lot of aspects in which how ChatGPT changes the way you learn things. It can it has the potential to disrupt what are the traditional learning methodologies. If you have a system, so think of it like a calculator, right? We do not do large multiplications or additions anymore because we have a device that does it. Similarly, what is the benefit, or rather than benefit, you don't need to learn history dates anymore. You don't have to learn a lot of things that is knowledge based. Instead, ChatGPT can do that. But what that does mean is education systems and universities need to adapt the way they teach things to take this extremely powerful tool into account. Because sure, you can maybe ban ChatGPT on a campus, but that is not going to stop the students from using it at home. And we all know students we can always get smarter. There is always a way to trick the system, etc. So it is not about beating the existing system, but it's about changing the educational system in such a way that we teach this tool how to use it responsibly, or how to design an education system around the availability of such a technology. Which does things at your fingertips. Like if it can summarize entire textbooks, if it can summarize responses, then what would the students learn? They would have to learn something else, not just the same traditional methodologies, but rather how to process information in a different way, and then how to output it in a different way without using ChatGPT, or using ChatGPT as a tool rather than as an alternative. One major area where it can help is customized learning. So it can overcome the language barrier. There is, of course, a lot of work to get there. As Professor talked about, it does not do a great job of translating languages, etc. But it still is a key factor in overcoming the language barrier. Like you can get personalized education programs for students based on their geography, based on their background, etc., to help certain students to accelerate their learning, etc. Okay, so what else is out there? So we've used ChatGPT a lot in terms of that terminology. Professor spoke about ChatGPT. I'm talking about ChatGPT. But ChatGPT, is that the only thing that's out there? And obviously, that is not true. ChatGPT is just a large language model. So ChatGPT is, like I said, it's a way to converse with the internet, or it's a way to converse with machines in a more natural format. And there are a lot of other similar models out there that do the same thing. So Google has its Lambda project, which is the language model for dialogue applications. It's productized as Bard, and I'll show you a quick demo about that in a little bit. Meta or Facebook has Llama, which is again a similar foundational large language model. There is Jasper.ai. Amazon has its own models. So essentially, there are quite a few models out there that are doing the same thing. ChatGPT was the one that sort of broke the barrier the quickest, and it became the most popular. But I encourage all of you all to go check out the alternatives as well. So let me quickly show you a demo that just compares ChatGPT and Google's model called Bard. So if you can see my screen here on the left is Google's similar chat bot, and you can also access it at bard.google.com. And on the right is ChatGPT. So what I want to fundamentally show is there's not a lot of difference between the two. So let's see, let's just ask something to ChatGPT. Let's ask it, what is the best food in Karnataka? Okay, let me copy this question over and let me paste the same to Bard. So one difference you see immediately is an experience difference. So ChatGPT on the right starts typing things immediately. It has a more conversational feel, as if you're talking to someone, whereas Bard waited for a little bit and then threw out the answer in a chunk. But essentially, both of them, if you look at the content, has similar sort of content that they're offering. Bard on the left, Karnataka is a state in southern India, with rich and diverse cuisine. Some of the foods are bisibele bhat, dosa, idli. ChatGPT on the right, similar thing, southern state, bisibele bhat, idli. Maybe some small differences in the foods they pick. Again, that comes down to the biases they have, how they've been trained, etc. You can think of them as having their own personalities. But essentially, at a large scale, they end up doing the same functionality. And you can ask it follow-up questions. So I can ask it. So we have a lot of friends from UP joining us today. So I can ask it something like, how can I explain bisibele bhat to my friend from UP? And if I ask it a question like this, it's going to give me what it thinks is an answer. So bisibele bhat is a flavorful rice based on, it's a complete meal itself, blah, blah, blah. It's giving the description of bisibele bhat. So essentially, the key, okay, and then here it gets to some differences, is similar to the version of khichdi popular in rice and lentil dish, etc. So I encourage all of you to actually try bisibele bhat if you guys are in Bangalore or Karnataka, or you probably get it in UP as well. So like I said, there are a lot of other options as well out there that do similar things as ChatGPT. ChatGPT is kind of become synonymous to the word, like how Google is synonymous to search. ChatGPT is currently synonymous to this whole conversational AI experience. So that, with so much competition coming up, that begs to ask a question: that is ChatGPT or LLM, is that actually becoming a commodity? So like I said, Facebook has actually released its own version called Llama, and the entire code base is free. It's available, it's open source. So you can take that code base and you can set up your own version of the bot. You can have your very own conversational AI. You don't consume it as a service. You actually take their source code and you build your own version of it. You can change their source code. So essentially, these models, and if you see how fast everything changed, right? Within 6 months, everyone is, it's a word on everyone's mouth: ChatGPT, AI, ML. So these models, or these kind of conversational models, or AI in general, is sort of becoming foundational to technology, and is going to become foundational to the world. So think of it like electricity. You have so many products, so many services, everything runs on electricity. But can someone patent electricity? Can Karnataka say that our electricity we produce is better than someone else's? Probably you can at a technical level. But at a fundamental level, electricity is just something that's being offered, and services are going to be on top of it. So maybe a few years down the line, there's not going to be any real difference between what, say, Microsoft offers, or what OpenAI's ChatGPT offers, or what Google offers at the foundational level. What is going to matter is what are the services that are built on top of it? What is the application? What problem it's going to solve for you? So Andrew Ng, who is one of the modern day greats in the AI/ML space, he's the founder of Google's DeepMind platform, etc. He is a master of the AI/ML space. He said a few years ago that AI is going to become the new electricity. So it's going to be such a basic commodity that other services and products are just going to be built on top of it. So this is where a lot of you would come in. Like this is the perfect time where you need to start thinking about how you can productize this. So you can use it for your personal use, which is great, and it will definitely help in your personal productivity. But how can you start productizing it? How can you use it to solve problems around you? Think of yourself, think of your relatives, and see how can a conversational bot solve their problems. Because this is the time when the technology is still new enough, where a lot of these problems they've not yet found the solutions, or rather no one has thought about it. Tomorrow you might think these are obvious. Then you might ask the question, hey, do I need to know AI ML? I'm not from an engineering background, or maybe I'm not from CS background, or even if I'm from CS background, do I need to know AI ML to use ChatGPT? And absolutely not. Like just Professor showed before in his demos as well, you can use ChatGPT in multiple ways, even for your personal productivity, or think about it as how can it solve problems for people around you. Think of it like just as a tool that you can use to solve someone else's problems, your own problems. So if you're thinking about creating products around it, a simple idea, a recipe maker, you have 10 ingredients, like you can have a dedicated product. So a lot of you, maybe now people are living by themselves, or we have smaller families. So everyone has to balance work, cooking, etc. So maybe you can productize it in such a way that you can give it 10 ingredients and ask, hey, I have these 10 ingredients at home. How can I make a meal that fits my diet? And maybe that's a specialized form of ChatGPT that you can release as a product for such a market. So in conclusion, I'm going to leave you with like a concept called prompt engineering. Essentially, prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering, or what is a prompt? So basically, a prompt is how you converse with an AI. So what you talk. So when I was giving you examples here, what I was telling ChatGPT, that is a prompt. So that is how I converse with an AI, and that is called a prompt. So there are ways in which you can extract the most out of an AI or a conversational AI by giving it very clear prompts, very clear instructions. It's like the clearer you ask a question, the more specific you are, the better it is at understanding your problem and giving you solutions. So as a very quick concluding example, let me quickly show you in probably ChatGPT itself instead of Bard, how to let me show it to you in ChatGPT if I can find it. Probably not. Hang on. I think I closed the window by mistake. Let me quickly open it up and go to chat.openai.com. Again, that's the URL that was shared earlier as well, chat.openai.com. That's where you can try out ChatGPT. So essentially, I can ask it. So say I have to do a presentation tomorrow on whatever. Let's take photosynthesis. So I can just ask it, hey, give me a 10-line script on photosynthesis. Okay. Great. That's a prompt. It's given me a scene where it gives me a script for photosynthesis, gives an explanation on photosynthesis occurs, etc., etc., etc. Now, sure, this is useful. But say you realize that, hey, you actually want to give that presentation to 5th standard students. You're a teacher, you want to give that presentation to 5th standard students, you want to make it funny. So you can add that into the prompt. Whatever you want, you make it extremely specific. So you specify the tone, you specify the audience. So I can improve this saying like, I need to give a presentation on photosynthesis to 5th standard students, make it funny, keep it to 10 lines, keep it simple. So if I give it a prompt like this, it knows exactly what you're looking for. It knows the tone that you're going for, it knows the audience that you're going for, etc. So then you can see the responses are a lot more. It actually tells you what to do, like draw a stick figure of a happy plant on the board. Good morning, kiddos. So that is not maybe language someone uses in India. So let's do one more thing. Let's say that it's not just for 5th standard students. Let's say it's 5th standard students in Karnataka. So I can just have a conversation with it and I can tell it to improve this. So I can say the students are from a village in Karnataka. Can you contextualize the script accordingly? So again, you're giving it more information. You're telling it exactly what you want. So then the language, the tone of the response that you get back changes. So namaskara, my dear students. Today we're going to talk about some interesting photosynthesis, etc., etc. So this is just an example of how you can make your prompts more and more specific when you're conversing with any AI, ChatGPT in this matter. So if you want to get work done, or if you want to have a specific problem solved for you, you have a conversation with it. If you want the response to be shorter, you tell it to be shorter. If you want it to for a specific audience, you tell it that. So essentially, the way you're conversing with this AI is going to determine the quality of responses you get back. The more general your question, the more general is the response. So with that, so I just wanted to leave you guys with that little bit of a tip on prompt engineering. You can use that in any products you build as well. The more specific your prompt is, you can tell ChatGPT something like, hey, I want you to act like a virtual cook, and then give it specific instructions. Like, I want you to cook, suggest only vegetarian recipes, or I want you to suggest only healthy recipes with high protein, whatever. But the more specific you are in the prompt, the better your responses will be, the better ChatGPT knows how to respond to your questions. So anyway, in conclusion, like a summary of whatever I said, ChatGPT, LLMs are rapidly evolving. It's not just ChatGPT, it is all the other competitors that are out there as well. I encourage all of you to just Google about it. Again, the term Google, try it out. It will impact education, especially anything that is knowledge-based, because if you have a tool that has all the knowledge of the world at the tip of your fingertip, and that spoon feeds it to you, you don't have to go to Stack Overflow anymore. So that is the kind of advantage that it offers. I encourage you to learn it as a tool. Start using it for your personal productivity. And LLMs or these kind of conversational AIs are heading towards a commodity sooner than later. Like I said, 6 months back, we'd not heard of ChatGPT, and today we're having a talk about it. Many people are using it. And not just in the tech sector, across industries, people are using it to solve their problems. So yeah, think about it, how it can solve problems for you, solve problems for the people around you. And because it can solve problems for you or the people around you, it is definitely a product idea. Try it out, not just ChatGPT, other LLMs, BARDs. I'll probably try to share all the links at the end of this talk. I'll add it to my summary. But yeah, that's all I had. Let me know if you have any questions and clarifications, and hope all of you have a great day. Namaskara.
A wonderful produce. It's a wonderful session. And as I'm sure students will have many questions and will come to you. So I'll request you to be here for some more time. And meanwhile, as you said, very quickly, if you have some idea, you can develop product. And I think that's where Atul is demonstrating how that he did something in, I believe, in 4 hours. Probably Atul can tell us exactly and what is that he's developed. I will hand it over to Atul to give us demo. Atul, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Ananth. So I think I will just build upon what Professor Sadgopan and Pratush has said. I actually built a product and I used ChatGPT a lot to actually give me the code for that product as well. So I'll quickly share my screen and show you how you can, use ChatGPT across the product development process. So this is a simple product. This is definitely a fifth version. The first version was very simple. So this is a Chrome extension, which sits here, where if you go to any article, it will try to summarize it for you. So this is the news article, which is very long, lot of text, ads, and everything is there. So I just want to get the gist of this article. So I use my extension to give me a summary of this article. So it says it has saved the article also, and I can click the summary button to quickly get me the summary of this article, and then I can decide if I want to read the article in full and all, right? So this is the thing that I've developed using ChatGPT behind the scene. So for engineers, for programming, for product, you can so this is like a consumer interface where you can type things. But for engineers, they need a application programming interface which they can integrate with their code. So OpenAI also provides that kind of a service where you can actually buy their subscription for API, and they have a full reference of APIs that you can use, and you can actually make these calls, these conversations you can do programmatically. So for this extension, if I just browse through my history of how I got the code running, right? So if you can see my prompts, where I'm asking it to get me the UI code for my extension. I am asking it to give me a code for converting time zones, because I have to send these emails across all the users who are bookmarking and summarizing the articles for me. So you can see all the history. So most of the code that I've written for this extension was I would say 60-70% of code is written by ChatGPT. You just have to give the right prompts to it. And from the product perspective, if you ask me, it also kind of can stitch multiple services. ChatGPT being one, it's also a very particular problem of summarizing the content that we are encountering on these news articles. Then I kind of gone a step ahead and started integrating other services as well. So if you see, it also says that it has my page created. So all the things that I'm consuming, it kind of creates all the bookmarks in a beautiful page, right? And if you see, I also kind of said it kind of creates a podcast for you. So if I play listen all, it will start playing all the things that I saved in a summarized way, like a radio program. So I will just quickly play it for you.
Hey there. You are now tuned in to Revisit, a podcast that is created especially for you. This is your very own space to stay engaged, informed, and entertained. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some quality me time. Happy listening.
Playing articles from government. The playing article titled Praveen Sood has been appointed as director of the CBI for 2 years. Published by livemint.com. Karnataka, Director General of Police, DGP. Praveen Sood has been appointed as the next director of the Central Bureau of Investigation.
So this is kind of it kind of created a nice program of all the things that I'm consuming. And if somebody wants to also consume it as a newsletter, so this service kind of sends a newsletter every morning where you have whatever you visited the previous day. It kind of forms a nice summary of that, and it just sends you an email, which you can consume either by reading or by by listening. So the idea here is, like, when you're going to prioritize things of AI, there's a ChatGPT out there, there's an audio, there's a voice cloning, text to speech service. A lot of AI things are there, but if you can bring it all together, it kind of solves a very specific problem which I was trying to attempt of summarizing the articles and all the stuff that is there in information overload space. So that's all for me. You can ask any questions later in the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
So over
thank
to
you
you,
so much.
Sujit.
Okay. So, thank you so much. Wonderful. I mean, this is inspiring for our thousands of students, hundreds of students, or thousands of students who are watching and probably will watch this video recording later. How is that in 4 hours or whatever hours we can develop a product? And that is like wonderful insight. And especially, I think I like this idea of even if I'm not a computer science graduate, I can do coding. I mean, these are the wonderful insight. In the interest of time, before I hand it over to Vijeta, just one question I have for Pratyush. Pratyush, Pratyush, it looks like ChatGPT is going to replace my job for sure. Whatever job I'm doing here, ChatGPT can do better job than me. My question to you is, do you think your job also can be replaced by ChatGPT in coming days? What you did here?
Yeah, so I think all of our jobs can be replaced, but the thing is, we need to use ChatGPT as a tool. So see, at the end of the day, you cannot trust ChatGPT like you would trust a human. So essentially, it is our responsibility as people in the workforce to use the latest tool available to keep evolving our own skill set, and not just sort of be wary of it, saying it'll replace my job, etc. But it'll probably it'll help all of us do our jobs a lot better. And yeah, we'll have to see how everyone adapts to it, and it's going to be a very interesting couple of years ahead.
Absolutely, and that's how we evolve. I think wonderfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujit ji. And thank you to Atul, Pratyush, and Professor Sadgopan ji. I must say it was not a webinar, it was definitely a master class. Because I have taken at least 4 or 5 pages of notes from each one of your lectures. So I would, just to sum it up, I would like to just sum up what was discussed here today. First is Sadgopan sir took us through the history of AI and how we are currently in the second generation of AI, where information organization went from a telephone directory to Google to ChatGPT now. And it's very interesting to see how through the demos that Atul showed us, how this is being done across different fields, whether it is shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, whether it's writing an email, or whether it's organizing lot of scattered information. Of course, Professor also pointed out one important point here is how the social and historical nuances is something that ChatGPT cannot pick up at times. So maybe a politician or an activist who works in the grassroots may give a statement that may have a historic or social meaning to it, which may not be understood by a machine yet. So that is something to be noted here, definitely. And opportunities, of course, while discussing opportunities, Professor spoke about how from spell check to now we have gone to Grammarly, which changes our grammar to make us sound better. And now we have ChatGPT, which might just write our mail better. So I'm also worried whether if we just write similar mails to each other. But of course, ChatGPT also has that option of providing different kinds of answers to the same question, which is very interesting. The challenges, of course, are of fake news, of inbuilt biases. This is something that's very interesting and it's across fields. For example, in social sciences, when we are collecting data, there is this bias that we always try to account for, because whether it's data collection, whether it is analyzing data, small biases like overlooking a factor or overlooking patriarchal factors, let's say, like Professor mentioned, can bring a big difference in what the data shows eventually. So of course, these are some of the problems that remain in ChatGPT that I hope will get corrected by unbiased people. And I think what is really interesting, of course, is how its applications to other sources, other sectors is, which Professor Ann Pratyush pointed out about how we can customize educational information, how we can customize the way we study. Actually, just yesterday, I was trying to I was trying to study for this entrance exam, and I was asking ChatGPT to pose questions to me on different kinds, and it was explaining to me how I should answer that question, which is so interesting and makes learning so much more easier. But of course, opening up a whole box of worms with regard to how education system will, or the how educators will take this and how they will use it to the benefit of the students, and how now students, I'm expecting that projects and assignments and exams will change drastically now that we have ChatGPT. Uh, of course, Pratyush took us through some of very interesting other options like Bing, which is built along with ChatGPT, Bard versus ChatGPT, what are the differences? And also, it's very interesting to see how I remember when the smartphones really came up and everyone started making mobile applications. And now we have ChatGPT. So Pratyush suggested us that we should use to build something over that. We should try to make applications and products that build on ChatGPT so that we can solve our everyday problems. And then, of course, the human imagination is endless. So we can build so many different tools based on this. I'd also like to thank Atul for demonstrating each of these. And you also demonstrated what Pratyush was speaking about a product that was built by different AIs, putting together different AIs like audio related or collating information and various different things to create a podcast, which is so interesting. And what's best about this whole idea is that knowledge has now really become democratic, and how everyone can learn, whether it's programming, whether it's information about any thing around the world. So I'm very excited to use ChatGPT in many more ways, and of course to see the world around me changing. And I think quickly to wrap up, I think we should maybe take up a few questions. A lot of the questions were answered. I was just looking at the questions. But maybe I can ask one or two questions that maybe start a new discussion altogether. One is, of course, there's one question from, let me just read it out. Manoj Kumar Pandey from, he's a faculty of Deen Dayal Upadhyay University from Gorakhpur University. He has spoken about how he's concerned with regard to the involvement of ChatGPT in the fields of chartered accountants, lawyers, content creators, and writers, and how far it is permissible to include ChatGPT in these fields. I think a part of this is explained, but if you would want to add something, there was also a question related to this regarding privacy. So if you would like to comment, Professor and Pratyush, if any of you want to comment on this question.
Okay. So thank you. I think both are excellent questions. See, privacy is something which is kind of bothering lots of people. So I think what happens is there is a considerable intrusion into our privacy. And let me also tell you sometimes how the human folly. See, as a professor, we are a reasonably respected human being, right? So we are, but I tell you, even how I exhibit diametrically opposite views. So one of the days, one of my students told me, and I was just telling him that, in Google Gmail, if you forget to send the attachment, it actually will tell you actually had put a word attachment in the letter, but you forgot. So you feel so good about it, I keep forgetting. Then my wife asked me this question: does it mean that Google is reading all the mail? Okay. I instantly said yes. So now comes very interesting. I don't want Google to read my mail. But I want Google to tell me that I have not attached an attachment by reading the mail. Right? So question is, where do you want privacy? You know, it's a complex one. So I want to tell you, privacy is complex. About the earlier one which you said, I'm just forgetting. What are the first one you had mentioned? You had one more thing.
Yes, sir. The question was on how will ChatGPT play out in the fields of chartered accountancy,
Oh, okay.
lawyers for
See,
lawyers.
okay. See, lawyers are already kind of starting to use it. Okay. And they actually find that the summarization is something which they find extremely helpful, because, you know, in the arguments, you have to say that, look, this was referred to in this one, etc. So to a large extent, it goes by memory and their ability to get notes from their assistants. Okay, so that would be a great level player. Accountants, you see, what happens is something like that. You see, accountants need lots of information. See, sometimes what happens is ability to cut through lots of data and be able to provide a summary or locate the outlier. Okay, right now they will use Excel macros, etc. to do it, but ChatGPT will do it instantly. Okay, but I think what is going to happen is it is something like that. You see, you get a new toy. How you will use the toy, I think people have to internalize and find out. I don't think, unless some accountants start using it and they get stuck, some of the techies can help. But I don't think we should actually be thinking this is what accountants need and building it. Right? It's a question of the end users, accountants, lawyers, etc. Once they start using ChatGPT, we would know what are the interesting stuff. And then if there are technical problems, we will solve. So at this point in time, I think we need more experiments. I'll stop there. Thank you. I think Pratyush can add.
Yeah, thanks, Professor. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't have much to add, but when it comes to privacy, it is an issue with all technology, like any new technology. Like Professor said about the Gmail reading your thing. So policy a lot of time determines where privacy lands, because there is always technology to make things more private, less private, etc. But companies or organizations, corporations will prefer making things less private so that they can personalize their services, or they can just do more. So I think it is the duty of the government or the policymakers then to step in and understand the problem, because it's very important that, since technology is moving this quickly, it's important that our policymakers also have a handle on what the technology is, how it works, get expert opinions, etc., and sort of stay ahead of the game when it comes to protecting the privacy rights of citizens. Yeah. About the first question, yeah, I don't have much to add, but see, like the way things are going right now, at least there is always like who takes accountability if ChatGPT messes up. So that is a big question to answer. So it is definitely a great productivity booster for, say, chartered accountants or lawyers, etc. But at the moment, at least, the buck stops with the chartered accountant or the lawyer. You cannot blame it on an AI. So at the moment, at least, it's more as of a tool that you use to make your job better, rather than like replacing any of these fields. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
There's one related question, or rather not related, but there's a question on can ChatGPT be used to extract dangerous information? Is there a safeguard or a restriction as to what information is shared and what isn't shared?
Pratyush, you can answer it better, I think.
Yeah, so at the moment, yes, I would recommend caution to all of you, because ChatGPT is owned by OpenAI. So any information you give ChatGPT is technically owned by OpenAI. And you might start seeing a lot of different flavors of ChatGPT that companies release, and the same privacy policy applies there. So any question or any sensitive data you send to it, be extremely careful, because that data is something you're voluntarily giving to the company. And this is again going to be a problem that companies need to solve. Policymakers need to catch up on this. But at the moment, yeah, be extremely careful in terms of any like sensitive data or internal company code, etc., that you guys might be using. Do not share it on ChatGPT, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much, Pratyush. I think we have a faculty from DDUG, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya University. Joining us, Rajiv Ranjan, sir. So would you like to ask your question? It's regarding research and academia. Or I can read it. I'll just read out his question. Are you able to ask the question, sir?
Yes, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, I have a question regarding plagiarism issue. In the current world, whenever we compute the plagiarism, which is entirely based on keyword and sentence formation, that GPT is generating lots of text. So I think it will definitely saturate the regional checking tools.
Professor Rajiv, we are not able to hear you clearly. Vijeta, would you like to read the question?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do
Yeah.
that. So the current trend in research of determining plagiarism is based entirely on keywords and word usage or sentence usage. This is, of course, very relevant for those in academia and students. So he is asking if, but there's a limitation to this, as with tools like ChatGPT, there might be different ways of saying the same thing, but maybe you didn't write it. So what is the answer to this core problem of how maybe you're plagiarizing the idea or the thought, but using different words much more easily now because you have ChatGPT?
Okay, see, it's a kind of, in some sense, a deep question, but part of it has already been answered in other forms. See, what happens is that, historically we use the terms syntactic and semantic. Syntactic is something which deals with simple patterns, and semantics with the underlying meaning, right? We have syntactic pattern recognition vis-a-vis semantic pattern recognition. Right now, the plagiarism tools are more syntactic in nature. They look at keywords and structures, etc. To actually be able to do it at the intent level or the thought level is more semantic. But what happens the moment you get into semantic, it is also deeper, right? So there are no easy definitions. So one has to get in. But what really happens in technology is we get layers and layers, we get better. Okay. So what happens is that even though the same thing is said in so many words, we actually will be able to find out it actually means the same thing. Okay. And that level essentially happens through understanding. And so that understanding the knowledge better. And then it also a question of effort. So that's the reason why you find that many of these things, availability in English language is much higher. In fact, I was taking the example, my own, the poem that Atul shared, Tamil translation is bad, but the other Kannada translation is much better, simply because there are more tools available. Okay, more researchers are experimenting, etc. I think it will happen, but it is going to take a while. And remember that in general, syntactic kind of stuff, you are able to do it much faster. So it is a linear speed. But semantic ones take a long time because it is an evolutionary stuff. So it will take much longer time. And there are certain things which you may not be able to do it at all, because human beings are far more ingenious. Okay, maybe I'll stop here and ask Pratyush to add. He will have some views. Please, Pratyush.
No, I actually don't have much to add, but I just have an interesting anecdote. So they have some AI-based checkers for plagiarism, and it rated, I think it gave the Bible like 97% of this is generated by an AI. And for the US Constitution, I think the score was like 92% of the US Constitution has been generated by an AI. So yeah, I think it's still very early days for the plagiarism checkers.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Pratyush. I would like to invite here Professor Rajesh Singh ji, the Vice Chancellor of Gorakhpur University, to please share a few of his thoughts. So please unmute yourself. Sir, we are not able to hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm thankful to this platform, especially this National Dialogue Series, for giving me this opportunity to participate and hear, especially Atul, especially Pratyush and Atulji and Professor Sudha Gopalanji, and it was really new for me. But slowly, I was just while the things were going on, so I was comparing how much it is different from Google and how beneficial it is, especially when we used to be invited for some time as a chief guest in various platform. Sometimes you do not know what you have to speak and how to collect that information. You always ask for some speaking point. So it's, I think, a more comprehensive platform. I think a more better platform than Google. Certainly, you have to work it out. Many things are there. Some questions are coming about copyrights and plagiarism, and also about new education policy. One thing is coming up very fast, that translate the syllabus in the local languages. So I usually was against it. I always used to say how much to waste the resources, because you're translating medicine education in the local language, Hindi, Sanskrit, Tamil. Well, particularly for a country like India, where the shortage of human resources and platform. But I think this is a very interesting if we can use this ChatGPT as a platform. But that you have to look into it, how much database you have about how how you can translate English into Tamil or Telugu or Kannada, and how to, and who will take care about that its translation is proper. So those things has to be debated. And but I am very impressed. I was involved. Literally, usually you don't get 2-3 hours to sit there. But I am thankful to the whole, especially Tejaswini ji, for giving me this platform, not to me only, to hundreds of my students and faculty. Thank you so much, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It is truly our honor to have you, and especially for attending the entire event. We also want to thank Gorakhpur University for engaging. Most of the questions are from the students and faculty from there. So we are very happy to have you and the college. And you're absolutely right, sir. I think this is something with regard to use of ChatGPT to generate a high level of information in different languages is something that will be very beneficial for a country like India. So I think one more, just to make an announcement here, for all the students who have joined us and have attended this masterclass and learned a lot, just like me, I would ask you to all fill out our feedback form, which will, and then we will be able to immediately award you the certificate also for attending the event. So I'd try to request Purna ji to show the QR code, which can be used to fill in the feedback form, um, to also attain the certificate.
QR code has made life so good.
Another announcement here is to, for all the students who want to volunteer to make these events, many more of these events, and to maybe choose topics to create these events, I would to be involved in Nation First dialogues, the operations and the organizing of the event, I would request you to visit our website, akp.org.in, and to register as a volunteer. We would love to have more and more students engage in organizing the event as well. And finally, I would also want to thank everyone who has attended here, and also invite Sujit ji to give the vote of thanks. for everybody who has made this event possible. I personally learned a lot from this event. So thank you so much, Sadgopal sir. Thank you, Pratyush. Thank you, Atul.
Thanks, Vijeta. Thanks, Vijeta. That's indeed it's a wonderful, great session we had, and our sincere thanks to Professor Gopan sir. In spite of his busy schedule, he came here, spent time, and he's here with us. Indeed, it is and giving us insight about what is that, how is that revolutionizing this ChatGPT, not just technical part, but how is that is revolutionizing the whole concept here, especially in Indian context. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this insight to us. Our sincere thanks to Pratyush, and Pratyush gave us lots of how is that way forward. What is the way forward? Things are moving. How is that as a young student? What is that we can do? And it's inspiring, Pratyush. Thank you so much. And I know it's he's on vacation, and still you are able to manage the time. We really appreciate. Thank you, Pratyush, so much. Sincere thanks to Atul for giving us such a wonderful demo, especially the 4 hours product. And indeed, he put lots of effort in making this 4 hours. I'm sure he has spent 4 hours earlier to make this demo possible. And our sincere thanks to Atul for making the other demos and last demo which we showed. And this was inspiring for many of us, including myself. And now we know, even if I don't know coding, how is that I can do a great product even by doing coding and everything. Thank you so much. Sincere thanks to Krishna Bhatt sir, who is chairman of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, and members of AnanthKumar Pratishthana for their continuous support, continuous inspiration. Without that, it's not possible to organize such I'd say webinar. Vijeta said masterclass, but I still use webinar. It is not possible. So my sincere thanks to all members. Our sincere thanks to Tejaswini madam. Without her guidance, without her this support, not possible at all. And she is the person behind whatever we are organizing today. Our thanks to participants, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, faculty, students, all other professionals. Sincere thanks for listening so patiently. Thank you so much for this spending Sunday evening with us. Thank you so much. Our thanks to backend team, especially Purnaji, who was able to manage quality of everything, like either it's a video or it's a sound, presentation. Wonderful effort, wonderful. But most of the webinar goes wrong because of sometimes audio problem, sometimes video problem. Sincere thanks to Purnaji and his team for continuous backend support. And also our sincere thanks to Nation First Dialogue Code team for last probably every month we put lots of effort in terms of selecting topics, selecting our speakers, selecting various steps we go through. So my sincere thanks to all our team members. Last but not least, from bottom of my heart, thanks to Vijeta for anchoring this event so nicely. I'm sure it's events would have been half of what they achieved. Thank you so much, Vijeta, for anchoring this so nicely. Our sincere thanks to all of you again, and I'm looking forward to having you all in our next session. We will be announcing our date and topic very soon. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Sujesh. The pleasure is completely mine. I would like to ask Tejaswini ji to present the mementos to the speakers. It's just a token of appreciation from our end. And I would also request Purna ji to once again show the QR code at the end of the event so that students can fill in the feedback form and avail the certificates. Of course, the feedback form will be open for one more hour until 7:30. So I request you all to fill in the feedback form and avail the certificate right away. Yes, yeah.
Okay. So we should sit so that the camera catches it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you should come this side, man. Otherwise, camera. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Yes. Okay. Thank you. This is nice. Boy, okay, you seem to have a ChatGPT at work. Yes. It is already personalized. Thank you. Thank you. So, Atul. Oh, so nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, those who want to
1 minute,
volunteer
I think
with
we
us,
should, Atul,
please do
Abhi Baido, I think you should
register
formally get.
ourselves.
So, Atul, from my side, because I gave him just 3 days notice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, Vijayta, thank you for everything. Because you see, thanks
Thank you
giver
so
never
much,
gets
sir.
thanked. So, we need to thank you.
No, pleasure is completely
Thank
mine,
you.
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vijayta.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Pratyush.
Pratyush. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. It was a great
So,
pleasure.
okay,
sharing
bye,
my
everybody.
input.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
can say bye, everybody. Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Vijayta, maybe you can centrally, yeah. It is always nice.
Yes.
that
I
it is
think
done.
our YouTube YouTube live is closed, right, Purna? Yeah.
Where is Vijayta physically?
I'm in